Okay. So now you're able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so let's start. Thank you everyone for joining this session. This is like more details, diving a little bit deep. I mean, for the meditation for Tibetan Buddhism, especially for Śamatha practice. So for this session, it's more, we are using Mipham Rinpoche's the profound instruction on Śamatha, which we have the transmission from Khenpo Sodaji. So we will learn this instruction, probably need like 10 sessions. Today we just start, and then we need to spend a few portion of the time to discuss how to practice Tibetan Buddhism, including especially the meditation. So let's start. So we'll start to taking refuge and generate bodhicitta. In Buddha, Dharma, and the Spring Assembly, I take refuge until I attain enlightenment. Through the merit of practicing generosity and so forth, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. Let's do another two with yourself. Okay. Next, we recite the 7-line prayer for Guru Rinpoche. Hom ujin ichina shansan bema kisadombala. Yenzo yok jokuni bema joni jisoja. Kuro gandu mamboko jiji jisoja jiji shinjila jishasoso Guru bema city home. Home, in the northwest of the land of Huiyuan, in the heart of lotus flower, endowed with the most marvelous attainment, you are renowned as the lotus born. Surrounded by many hosts of Dakinis, following in your footsteps, I pray to you, come, inspire me with your blessing. Guru Bema Siddhi Home. One more time. Home, in the northwest of the land of Huiyuan, in the heart of lotus flower, endowed with the most marvelous attainment, you are renowned as the lotus born, surrounded by many hosts of Dakinis, following in your footsteps. I pray to you, come, inspire me with your blessing. Guru Bema Siddhi Home. Homage to the teacher Buddha Shakyamuni, homage to the wisdom warrior Manjushri, homage to the entire loving lineage masters. The unsurpassed, profound, and wonderful Dharma is difficult to meet for hundreds and thousands million eons. Now that I get the chance to see, hear, receive, and practice it, may I understand the ultimate meaning of the Tathagata. In order to liberate all sentient beings, please generate the supreme bodhicitta. So with the bodhicitta in mind, let's recite the prayer to Mipham Rinpoche. Through the blessings of the youthful Manjushri, the union of awareness and emptiness, you released the 8 brilliant treasures. Master of an ocean of treasure-like teachings of the Dharma in both aspects, transmission and realization. To you, Mipham Rinpoche, Manjushri in person, I pray. We pray to Mipham Rinpoche because this instruction was written by Mipham Rinpoche. And normally, in the beginning of the class, we pray to lineage masters to get the blessing of our session, and to each one of the participants. Okay. Okay, so now we will discuss how to study and practice the Dharma with the Tibetan Buddhism point of view. This text is extracted from Kampo's book, Tibetan Buddhism. Kampo said, the answer is that we need the three ways of developing wisdom: hearing, contemplating, and meditating. To develop wisdom of hearing, we listen to the teachings of qualified teachers, or study sutras, shastras, and tantras. And then contemplation. We process and reflect upon the content we hear. It's like we have guided meditation for the non-dual. For that, we need to contemplate, so that we achieve an embodied understanding. For the third kind of wisdom, we gain practical experience of what we have understood through meditating. So that certainty is born from within. So with the meditation is based on hearing and contemplating. So we practice Dharma, we need three ways: hearing, contemplating, and meditating. These three steps. Through the proper hearing, contemplating, and meditating, we can generate the wisdom of hearing, the wisdom of contemplation, and the wisdom of meditation, which enable us to recognize, control, and uproot all afflictions, respectively. So in order to uproot all afflictions, we need meditation. But for proper meditation, we need contemplation and hearing. So the meditation is the last step for the three steps. Among this, there will exist a causal relationship. The wisdom of meditation arises from the wisdom of contemplation, which arise from the wisdom of hearing. So here, Kampo said three steps, right? First we need hearing, then we need contemplation, and then we need meditation. So three steps, how to practice. So first hearing and contemplation and meditation. So Kampo said, my root guru, great Mipham Rinpoche, always told us, nothing in Buddhism outweighs the importance of the hearing, contemplation, and meditation. In Heart Essence, my heart advice from Mipham Rinpoche, he stressed that hearing, contemplation, and meditation are the essence of Buddhism. Without them, Dharma cannot penetrate our heart and mind. So we're clear, right? We need hearing, contemplation, and meditation. So without the proper sequence, they will not, the Dharma, no matter how much we learn, it will not change our mind. So it's not penetrate our mind and heart. We need the proper sequence. Instead, so we need taking time to hear, to contemplate Dharma. In particularly, we are practicing the preliminary practice, the non-dual, right? To take the tantric path. So lots of friend here, we are practicing the non-dual, which is very important. Here, in tantric path, we'll study the Nongzhou. And we'll also study the 5 great treasures, if it's possible, but that will take a lot of time. It is not until this stage are finished that Dharma practitioners may take a further step to engage the intensive meditation. So if Nongzhou not finished, here Kampo is not recommended to do a lot of meditation, because if we don't have the knowledge, we'll not have the right result from the meditation. By then, meditation practice will be able to disclose its heart essence. That means if we don't have proper preparation for the meditation, the proper hearing, the proper contemplation, will not getting the proper result for the meditation. So here Kampo emphasize the Nongzhou, right? So I think I said a lot of times, for the Dharma study, the most important is causes and the effect, right? We have to have the right causes, then we got the right effect, the result. So for every step we are doing, we have to ask ourselves, it is the right causes? It is add value for the practice, or it's not? Or it's possible add value, possible not add value? That's the very important question. If we follow the wrong path, we may spend a lot of time to do meditation, lots of time, lots of people want to have the right result. But if we don't have the right cause, we're not getting the right result. Okay, that's the 3 steps: hearing, contemplating, and meditation. The last step is meditation. Okay, let's read some quote from Dongzhou Rinpoche. Lama Chan Rinpoche declared, "Sustain stillness, sustain the flow of inner experience, sustain Samadhi meditation." Though there are many such words of advice, yet rare indeed is that realization born within through the Guru's blessing, invoked by the power and the strength of devotion. So for here, we learned we have to sustain stillness, sustain the flow of inner experience, sustain samadhi. Those words were not very clear. What's that mean, right? But the realization born within through Guru's blessings, right? So here, Guru's blessings is very, very important. So we have Guru Yoga to practice, invoked by the power and the strength of devotion. So the faith is also very, very important. So for those experience, those words, we don't understand much. But if we have Guru's blessing and we have the faith, strong devotion, then we get Guru's blessings and we will have realization. So those Dzogchen, Ripa, for those words, we may understand eventually. So what we understand now, what we learned now, is in a conceptual perspective. From concept level, we may understand some or what we think that should be, right? But still in thinking level, conceptual level. with the Guru's blessing, is beyond the concept, beyond the words. So we need to reach that. We need the Guru's blessing. In other words, if we sit, meditate, we think that is right or not right, or we think meditation have the good experience, not good experience, those are conceptual thinking. They are not real realization. You might have some feelings sometimes, you think it's good, but the real realization is beyond conceptual understanding. And the real realization depends on Guru's blessing. It's not depends on the study. It's not depends on the technique, right? We may have a lot of meditation technique, watching the breath, counting the breath, awareness, feeling, sensation, a lot of techniques. But the realization is not depends how much technique you learned, how much variety meditation you practiced. The root is Guru's blessing. To have a Guru's blessing, we need the faith. We need the trust. So this is important. So, and then here, the full understanding and realization of the true essence of the great perfection depends entirely on the preliminary practice, nongzhou. So here, Donjo Rinpoche again emphasize the nongzhou, right? So it depends entirely. So without nongzhou, there's no real Buddhism and meditation. Probably the worldly meditation we can have, right, without study. But for the Buddhism meditation, Tibetan Buddhism especially, we need practice, the preliminary practice, the nongzhou. For the Jain Trukumpa, so this previous slide and this slide, these two masters is Kagyu from Kagyu lineage. From Jain Trukumpa said, other teachings stress the profundity of the main practice, but here we stress the profundity of the preliminaries. And that is just how it is. So from here, we know the preliminary practice, the nongzhou, is very important. Because from the nongzhou, we learn the truth of the reality. And we generate appreciation when we learned. And then we generate faith for masters. And with the master's blessing, we will be able to have realization, which is eventually realize our nature of mind. So this is the sequence, right? So I think a lot of friends here, we are from nongzhou, which is emphasized by lots of Tibetan enlightened masters. This is the path. Okay, with that in mind, we will learn about the omniscient Mipham Rinpoche. Mipham Rinpoche is like a sun for the Dzogchen perspective in great perfection. So a lot of teachings, especially from our lineage, is from Mipham Rinpoche. Let's read some Mipham Rinpoche's description, biography. The omniscient Mipham Rinpoche had long ago attained mastery over both nirvana and rebirth. When he finally displayed the sign of passing into paranirvana, he declared, "The treatises I have composed were all manifested from treasury of wisdom. I have never written even a single 4 lines verse that was not authorized by the Bodhisattva Manjushri. For anyone who explains here or practice them, the blessings they receive will be exceptional sublime, surpassing other paths and arriving with great swiftness. They are unlike certain teachings where the lineage is distant and the blessings are slow to manifest. Especially for the next 7 generations, the power of the blessings of the Dharma I leave behind will certainly intensify from generation to generation, growing even stronger. So everyone here, to learn this about Mipham Rinpoche are very lucky because we have Mipham Rinpoche's words, right? So Mipham Rinpoche is the emanation of Manjushri, right? So everything Mipham Rinpoche left behind him is the words from Manjushri. And he said, next 7 generation, so Mipham Rinpoche, we can count Great Mipham Rinpoche and our master Khenpo Sodaji and us, right? We are the 4th generation. So we will have great blessings from Mipham Rinpoche. I think everyone will have the same feeling as me because I feel a lot of blessings from Mipham Rinpoche. Let's continue. I now entrust these Dharma treasures to the protection of the Dharma guardian Gesa. For all who take up this practice, the Longa, wind horse, fortune, and merit will surely flourish. No adverse conditions or demonic obstacles shall find the slightest opportunity to intervene. If I will to recount my life journey in this entire and without reservation, I would only incite the ignorant to the baseless slander, yelling little practical benefit. This is why I have remained silent, yet now, as I face the end of my life, the sight of you moved me to great compassion. Furthermore, at such a time, I could not possibly make false claims of having attained the quality of superior beings. It is for this reason that I now reveal to you this brief glimpse of the divine secret. So, Mipham Rinpoche entrusts the treasures he left behind to the Dharma protector, Gesa. So this is the picture of the Gesa. The first one is Mipham Rinpoche. So with the we know in Tibetan Buddhism practice, right? We need the Dharma protectors to protect us, protect our practice, to dispel all obstacles. So we have Dharma protectors prayer. So we also have the Gesa. So Dharma guardian Gesa, that's king of Gesa. So we pray to them to protect us, to help us dispel the obstacles. So let's continue. With his Holiness Mipham Rinpoche said, regarding the words of my master, Mipham Rinpoche, if you read them once, you will gain a glimpse of their profound meaning. If you read them twice, your understanding will broaden. No matter how many times you revisit them, each reading will yield deeper insight. His words are indistinguishable from Vajra speech of the Buddha himself. Never underestimate the peace instructions of the omniscient Mipham Rinpoche. I myself have never regarded them lightly. I have immersed myself in his teaching repeatedly, for they carry an inconceivable power of blessing and spiritual majesty. So, our great Mipham Rinpoche, I don't know everyone know here, he got enlightened from Mipham Rinpoche's words, even they are separated, like they are a few hundred years apart. But with reading Mipham Rinpoche's prayer, His Holiness Mipham Rinpoche, read a lot of times and pray, and Mipham Rinpoche's blessing entered Mipham Rinpoche, and finally he got enlightened, realized the nature of mind. So that's why he regarded Mipham Rinpoche as his master, root master. So you will see, if we look back, we need Guru's blessings. That doesn't mean the Guru's blessings is the real human Guru, right? So master's blessings. A lot of circumstances happened. If we pray to the enlightened masters, previous lineage masters, if we get blessings, we also can be reach the realization. A lot of cases happened in this way. So we can pray to the Mipham Rinpoche once and twice and a lot of times, because we need the blessing. The blessing is within the master's words, right? They carry blessings. So it's not very simple, the words as it is possible. If we read it, we think, oh, I already understand. But the meaning, the blessing is beyond you understand. So that's the important, very important for the practice. Okay, now let's listen to Kampo's teaching. Kampo has 2 videos I already published to our channel. 2 videos about 2.5 hours. I break it down about 10 sessions. For every session, we only learn about 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes for Kampo's teaching, and then we'll review the meaning of the teaching itself. Okay, so I will play Kampo's teaching. It's about 10 minutes.
Now, let's first go through it. So let's go through it together, literally as a first step. We'll begin with Śamatha practice. Śamatha is a method for settling the mind. Homage to Manjushri Bodhisattva. This homage is offered by Mipham Rinpoche. As we all know from this text, if you focus mind, you'll come to achieve Śamatha, and gradually insight into the nature of things will dawn. First, through the method of meditation. In particular, we use our own mind to observe itself. In this careful way, gradually, through sustained practice and awareness, we first achieve the foundational state of Śamatha, the result of practicing shamatha meditation is that over time, both the mind and the body become more stable and capable, and the mind becomes fully focused. Wherever you direct your focus, it obeys no matter if, for example, you want to contemplate impermanence. Until you rise from your seat, you can remain in that state of contemplation. Or if you contemplate the skeleton, emptiness, or luminosity, your mind abides in whatever scope you initially set. Your mind will not wander away from it. This is shamatha. So, as we often say about the mind, whether you decide to let it rest for a bit or simply allow it to settle on its own, the result will ultimately be the same. Or let it enter meditative absorption, and so on. All of these are possible. If you have established a foundation of shamatha, then gradually insight Vipaśyanā can arise. Shamatha is resting the mind repeatedly. The 9 stages of settling the mind are all about resting. There's no need for analytical or alternating meditations. There's truly nothing like that, just continuous, peaceful resting, even amidst conceptual thoughts. You let the mind rest. When feelings of emptiness arise, let the mind rest. At any time, you just let it stay put, let it stop. This is one method of shamatha in meditation. Insight Vipaśyanā doesn't need resting mind. Practiced it through insight. It's resting or insight meditation. Mipham Rinpoche explains this in the Lamp of Certainty. Resting meditation is the method used prior to shamatha. Insight meditation means insight Vipaśyanā. Insight is cultivated through investigation and analysis. We recognize the true nature of mind, or the emptiness of all phenomena. This is the practice of insight Vipaśyanā. Gradually, we truly realize the view of selflessness and emptiness. This is the view of insight. The previous sentence may need to be revised for greater clarity. Settle your clear, brilliant awareness in the empty center of your heart. In the quiet, empty heart, there is a clear and vivid awareness. Within the heart of emptiness, there is a mind that is distinctly clear and aware. Awareness gathered inward abideth. This is what it means. This specific technique is called the mind observing the mind in meditation. Within the heart of emptiness, there is a vivid and clear awareness gathered inward called the mind observing the mind. Aren't we able to achieve calm abiding through observing the mind? So what does it mean to observe the mind? In reality, within our earthly body, there is the material, functioning physical heart. We visualize the heart empty. Then, in this empty heart, it is filled with flesh. But when we visualize, visualization is for cultivation. We can visualize anything we want. And at this point, we take our own consciousness into a state of vivid clarity. Clarity means a pure, clear mind, not merely emptiness, nor is it like an especially bright fluorescent light, like a light bulb, but it is not lacking in luminosity. This clear awareness abides inwardly. It is not scattered outward. It does not become attached to pleasurable objects, nor does it develop aversion, nor aversion or hatred toward unpleasant things. It's not like that. This clear and luminous awareness is gently drawn inward and abides at ease, drawn inward and abides like this, not scattered outward, but gathered within and abiding. This is the mind observing the mind. Actually, when we use the mind to observe the mind, those who have never studied Buddhism may find this concept vague. What does the mind observing the mind mean? What does it mean to know one's true face, or what it means to be clear and aware? Many new terms are unfamiliar, but this is perfectly understandable. The Lamp for the Path of Certainty says that some sectarian terms are difficult to grasp even after hundreds of eons and without the right karma and merit from past lives. It is hard. So it's understandable that people don't understand these terms. But here we are going to contemplate calm abiding, or in other words, how to meditate. Everyone, imagine within your own body and a heart of emptiness. And in the emptiness heart, there is a mind that is distinctly clear and aware. Let this awareness not scatter outward anymore. It is not like a light bulb that is always on, nor like street lamps that radiate outward. Instead, It is a very clear, inwardly gathered awareness that it's settled and abide. When you let it settle in this way, this is called the mind, observing the mind. Actually, there are two minds, but in practice, it is possible to contemplate in this manner. For one person, one cannot be both the observer and the observed. Having two mind zone, observing the other, does not truly exist. But when we discuss practice from inner clarity's perspective, the mind observes the mind, we can say in this way. We often say, the mind observes the mind, use your mind to observe your mind. In conventional terms, this is acceptable. Before we perform detailed analysis, mind observing mind is also valid. It seems when we haven't examined it closely, it's like the self-awareness discussed in Madhyamaka philosophy. People have self-awareness. You know yourself that you have a mind. You know yourself what you have done in the past. You know what you were really thinking in the previous moment. You know what you are really doing and thinking. This is completely clear. So it's like this. Here as well, there is a mind that is self-aware and self-illuminating. But this mind, unlike usual, we don't let it scatter outward. In the heart of your body, which beats every moment, constantly and tirelessly, visualize a clear mind. Instead of letting it scatter outward, we let it settle and stay there. So in Vajrayana practice, we often use mind, observing the mind. Mipham Rinpoche has a teaching called the old dog spits gold. In that text, it says, observing 100 external phenomena is not as good as observing one internal phenomenon. Observing 100 external phenomena is not as beneficial as turning inward. To observe the mind itself, this is the most supreme. I believe this was quoted by His Holiness in the direct pointing to my nature, maybe have been quoted before in that text or another one. So when we observe the external world, the mountains, rivers, and earth, what is the current international situation in the world today? Of course, you can observe these things, but it is still better to observe your own mind. What are my thoughts and intentions like? What is the true nature of my mind? This is actually very important for practitioners. We should observe this regularly. Of course, if you meditate in this way of abiding, it may require high achievement, and only those who practice meditation can do it. For those who do not practice meditation, we ordinary worldly people have never really observed our own mind. When greed, anger, or other emotions arise, they just let them arise as they please and never thought of it. They wonder, why observe my mind? That's how they are. But as Buddhists, for us, especially for those of us who wish to achieve realization through practice, it is truly necessary to understand our own minds. This is absolutely extremely, extremely important. Next, what exactly is the process of observing the mind like? Observe the mind. If you can't find it, you can find the object of observation. However, if you say the mind exists, it must be nothing other than inside the heart. After object of observation, no punctuation. These four lines can be taken together. What is it like when we observe the mind? When observing the mind, we simply cannot find what is called the object of observation. Of course, when we observe our own mind, whether the essence of the mind is white or red, whether it's the color or the shape, or whether the mind is substantial or insubstantial, or where exactly the mind is physically located within the body specifically, and so on. When you use the mind to observe your own mind, you simply cannot arrive at any so-called definite conclusion. You simply cannot find such a definite mind at all. When practicing calm abiding, there's really no need to search so meticulously at all. Is my mind white? Just like when we discuss Dzogchen teachings, is it red, square, or triangular? Or is the mind in the head or in the feet somewhere? You don't need to be so. In a more general sense, you just know that the mind exists. But if the mind exists, apart from the heart, there isn't anywhere else. Having general understanding is enough. When we practice Śamatha, this point is still very important. The mind cannot find a so-called object to focus on. However, if you insist that the so-called mind exists, then apart from the heart, there's really nothing else. Of course, nowadays, some people think maybe the mind exists in the brain. We can say that, in fact, the true nature of the mind, which is ultimately does not exist. conventionally there is a mind, but this mind is not actually in the brain, nor is it in the feet. If there is a mind, then it must undoubtedly be still in the heart. Even in conventional appearances, we think this way, and everyone else obviously thinks so too. You say, keep it in your heart. I remember it in my heart. We pat our chest over the heart when we say this. All right, I'll remember it in my heart. In daily life, when you remember something in your heart, you don't say, I'll remember it in my brain. It's not called remembering in the brain, nor do you remember it in your feet, nor in your own hands. It won't be remembered in your ears. Whenever we do anything, you have to remember it in your heart. Everyone has this habit. It's something we all share. What we remember in our hearts, but does the heart actually really contain the mind? It's not as if it's always there inside. Actually, in fact, traditionally speaking, then in general, there is a certain connection between the physical heart and the mind. Even in nowadays in the world, people who have had heart transplants, and I used to be a person, which is a person who particularly liked singing, and then simply their heart has been placed into another person's body, then naturally, that person develops a habit of liking singing. Some cases are even successful. For example, pig hearts or hearts from other animals have also been transplanted. In such cases, the recipient continues to have those habits, including eating unclean food. Examples. So although our heart is just a piece of flesh, it is still in some way always connected to our own inner foolishness or intelligence, in a sense, or the mindset that they really prefer. There is a certain connection. Of course, our brain, in fact, as well, nowadays, when many people analyze it, they also find it is related to our mind. For example, when there are brain problems, the mind becomes confused or even deranged. This also happens. Of course, we can say that our heart and our brain, those are important bodily organs. So the feelings of the mind are directly or indirectly connected to them in some way. But we can't say that the brain is the mind. Otherwise, anyone with a brain essentially should have consciousness. We can say having a heart has a mind. If that were the case, then the heart of a dead person still exists. So in this particular context, what we actually refer to as the mind, Mipham Rinpoche also said that, however, if we admit that the mind exists, then apart from the heart, it's impossible for our intestines to contain the mind, or for our thighs to contain the mind, or that other parts of our body somehow have the mind. No one would say that. Generally speaking, in general, if we are talking about the mind or mental processes, we often say that a person's mind is in the heart or something like that. There are such sayings. So you need to understand whenever we talk about the mind, as we often do, there's no need to analyze the mind in detail. At this point, just let it rest there for a while.
Good. Sorry, sometimes compose like the speech, the speed, talking speed are not very even because this is like translated a bit made by AI. But nevertheless, I think File Lotus team did a great job to make these teachings available to everyone at this this possible, then it's possible to learn this treatise from Mipham Rinpoche. Okay, so let's continue. So Campbell mentioned Śamatha and Vipaśyanā, right? Śamatha is the method of settling the mind through stillness. Vipaśyanā is the process of observing and recognizing that one's own mind is empty. This realize the nature of mind, realize the reality, right? Therefore, the union of Śamatha and Vipaśyanā is the very heart of all the Buddhist teachings. Vipaśyanā uses extensive observation and analysis to recognize the true nature of the mind. the emptiness of all phenomena. This path gradually allows us to directly realize the view of selflessness and emptiness. So now we are talking about Śamatha. Śamatha, we don't need analyze. Vipaśyanā is the practice we need analyze. If we look at ourselves, our mind have two major function. One is aware, right? We aware everything happen around us. We're aware our mind, our thoughts, everything, our feeling. That's aware. And another function is thinking. We analyze this and that, so logical thinking, that's the thinking feature. And Śamatha is more using the aware feature, not thinking feature. So we are here, we emphasize the Śamatha. So as stated in essay on the system of Mahayana by Master Huiyuan, when the mind abide one-pointedly, free from distraction and conceptual movement, is called Samādhi. With the foundation of Śamatha, Vipaśyanā can gradually arise. So here we have another word, Samādhi, right? So if the mind abide one-pointedly, what is one-pointedly? It's free from distraction. If we look ourselves when we meditate, very possible, very short time we have distraction, right? So when we sit, we think about this and that, what's the future happen, what I'm going to eat, what I'm going to do tomorrow. I have lots of plans. And then we have lots of things happening from the past. What we did, I regret, those stuff is distraction. And distraction actually is conceptual movement, right? So thinking here and there is conceptual movement. But here is when the mind abide one-pointedly, free from distraction and conceptual movement. So basically, not much thought. You sit there, not much thought. This is called Samādhi. And so we need the foundation of Śamatha, and Vipaśyanā can gradually arise. That's why it's very important we practice Śamatha. Okay, so actually I think I have more. Yep. Homage to this is we started with the root text from Mipham Rinpoche. So we will explain again what Camp explained in the video, right? First, Mipham Rinpoche homage to Manjushri Bodhisattva. By observing the mind, Śamatha is achieved. Gradually, true Vipaśyanā dawn. So we need have Śamatha, and then we can practice Vipaśyanā. But it's not a sequence, right? Even here, we said Śamatha and Vipaśyanā, like the step 1 and the step 2, but actually it's not. So when we practice, we also can practice alternate, practice Śamatha for a while, and practice analytical meditation, and back to resting the mind, right? So it's not a clear cut, still step 1 or step 2 or step 3. I think within the Dharma study perspective, we should have an open mind, not fixation, because every piece is moving, right? With our mind, with our reality, everything is moving. So we should not fix, right? So like one day this person is my friend, next day is my enemy, and those and everything is like moving. The time is moving, age is moving or getting old, every minute, everything is moving. We should have the open mind, don't have fixation. So that's our reality. It's like that. Okay. So why Śamatha and Vipaśyanā necessary? So Kampa said, without Śamatha, the mind flow like the water, lacking stability. An unstable mind cannot realize what is true and real. So Śamatha, we need to practice mind stillness, like stable. We don't think about this, think about that, moving, distracting, Śamatha is stable. Without Śamatha, Vipaśyanā is unstable as the candle flame in wind, unable to produce the light of wisdom. It remains unreliable. Therefore, Śamatha is indispensable. So even sometimes we have Śamatha, but not very stable. We're trying to practice Vipaśyanā. We're trying to resting our mind in true reality, but we're not able to rest because our Śamatha is not stable. Our mind is still moving around. Think about this, think about that, right? Very easy to get distracted. So Vipaśyanā will not arise, not able to practice Vipaśyanā correctly or efficiently, like that. So as a stage in the first stage of meditation, because it said, because the mind flows like water, it will not remain still without the foundation of Śamatha. Again, Śamatha, we need to practice Śamatha. We need to practice the one-pointedly, stillness, stable, right? A mind like that lacks balance cannot know reality as true is. So this is by maintaining the mental stability, you shall know the reality as it is, truly is, as it truly is. So we need the stable mind enabled to know what the truly of the mind is. So again, the middle stage meditation also state without Śamatha, the mind of the yogis and the yoginis practice Vipaśyanā will be distracted by objects like a candle flame in wind that are unstable, and the lights of the wisdom will not shine brightly. So sometimes if we have unstable Śamatha, we can also develop some wisdom, but the wisdom is like the flame emerged once and disappeared. They're not able to stable, right? That is what here says. It is taught no matter how much we practice Śamatha, without Vipaśyanā, we cannot eliminate all obstacles. We might temporarily suppress all mental afflictions, but will be able to uproot the latent tendencies, nor will be able to liberate ourselves from the suffering of samsara. So we need to have the Vipaśyanā. Eventually, we need to have the Vipaśyanā to uproot the afflictions, to liberate ourselves. But the Vipaśyanā practice need to have the Śamatha as the foundation. Why? Because Vipaśyana's practice need a stable mind or stillness. Shamatha practice is practice of mind, make it one-pointedly, stillness, stable. So that's the practice. Okay. So we will have the Q&A session later, okay? So if we have any questions, we can discuss later. I will just go through the root text. Within the empty heart, a clear and luminous consciousness turned inward and abiding. This is called mind, observe mind, observing mind. So within the empty heart, within the empty nature of the heart, if we look at ourselves, the heart, the nature of mind is empty, right? But even it's empty, but it's vivid, it's clear. We have awareness, we know outside, we know ourselves, right? Inward, we know ourselves. So we turn our attention inward and abiding. We turn our attention inward and abiding, but the attention, the consciousness is clear and luminous. We can, if we don't understand the luminous, that's okay, but clear is we have awareness, we know, right? We clearly know this is the clear. So we empty heart, our mind is empty. We draw our attention back inward. But this attention, this consciousness is clear. This is called mind observing mind. It's not very difficult, right? So even Campo said a lot of words because a lot of context in the video, but for this practice, we need first step, need to draw our attention inward. And this consciousness, this attention, this awareness is clear and abiding. Rest. This is called mind observing mind. Okay. When observing the mind, nothing is found. This is the object of the focus. Yet, if one asserts the mind exists, this is nowhere but the heart, right? So when we mind observe the mind, we cannot find the mind, right? This is what Campbell mentioned. Mind can be this color, have sound, has anything feature? No, right? We're not able to find our mind. But because we're not able to find our mind, we are very easily to generate the thought. I said, okay, I cannot find it in the mind. What should I do? So now Mipham Rinpoche gave you simple method, is simple instruction. If you are not able to find the mind, if we assume our mind exists, it is nowhere but the heart. Okay, just to draw our attention to the heart area of the body. We assume our mind is there, right? This is very important because if we cannot find the mind, our mind is scattered or scared or whatever emotion will happen, will arise, right? But here, Mipham Rinpoche said, okay, don't worry. If the mind exists, we assume is in our heart area. So we just rest our attention in our heart, right? But that is not the ultimate goal, okay? But today we are only explain this two set of the root test. Okay, we can practice together. Okay, so before that, I would like to introduce our 7-point posture of Vipaśyanā. I think lots of people already know. First is leg cross, full lotus, half lotus. You can search online how to practice it, but doesn't mean you have to do full lotus, right? So the second point is hand in the lap, right hand's palm up in your left palm, thumb touch each other. Third one, back straight, spine straight, but relax. Shoulder and arm should be relaxed, heart, head and neck, chin slightly forward, and the mouth, tip of the tongue touching the palates. Eyes, you can open your eyes, gazing past the tip of the nose or looking at 1 meter in front of you on the floor. Or if you are, you think you very, very easy to get distracted, you can close your eyes sometime. It depends on your practice. So this posture is very important because they help you to practice stillness. It's easy to settling, to resting your mind, because mind and body are connected. And with body's proper posture, actually is helping the mind. So this is the important, if you can, keep this posture. Okay, next we will have a guided meditation for this. So everyone, please find a comfortable position, and then we can start. So we can have a short guided meditation of these 2 set of instructions. Okay. So you find a comfortable place and try this 7-point posture. If you are not able to, that's also okay. And we will start. I will hit my symbol first to start and second time to end. Okay, so let's start. Okay, within the empty nature of the heart or the mind, there's a vivid, clear consciousness. So it's also called awareness. So we turn this awareness inward. That means we observe what's happening of ourselves. Our mind, what we're thinking, our sensation, what we are feeling, and rest. So we turn our mind, the awareness inward. And rest. Continue aware. We don't need analysis. Means we don't need follow their thought. We aware the thought, emotions, sensations. Just need rest. This is called the mind observing the mind. If your mind got distracted, you can just bring back your mind to continue observing the mind. Okay, next. When we observing the mind, nothing can be found. one assert the mind exists, so we assume it is the position with our heart. So we don't need to search the mind. Because we cannot find the mind. So if we accept the mind exists, we assume the mind is the same place with our heart. We just need abide right there. So if we assume mind exists, we can draw our attention to the heart position of our body and rest our mind. In the meantime, we still have vivid consciousness. This is awareness of knowing inward, outward. We'll continue aware, but we don't need worry about where is the mind, because we assume mind is the heart place. If you get distracted, you can just bring back your awareness and continue. Let's continue. Rest our mind for 1 more minute. Okay, we completed our guided meditation. So now we are on the Q&A session. Anyone have any questions? We can discuss. No question? Meditate. Go
Yes.
ahead, Elena.
Yes, I have a question. Okay, for me, this is a very brand new situation. So I would like to ask. It's clear the position and I mean the base position of Vairocana is cleared, but when I sit and I try to follow the process you lead before, when I try to do myself, I can't stay focused, not even 1 minute, not 15 minutes or 10 minutes. I mean, it's really frustrating. So how can I mean, at the beginning of the leading, you said, you told us to be aware about the feelings or any movement, inner movement. But what if this inner movement is stronger than my attention?
Are you saying you have stronger emotion?
No,
or...
not stronger emotion. I mean, it's like for example, I felt, I don't know, I'm here with open windows and so on, and I felt cold, and then I felt the noise outside in the street, and this and that, and all these things all together, like it is. I don't know. I felt
Oh,
in a I felt overwhelmed about all this, and I miss the lead, and I miss everything. And then okay, then I hear you that you said you come back, and I come back, but I felt in the same situation over and over again. So how to conquer a little bit of stillness in order to I don't know.
yeah. I understand your question. Okay, there's two things you can do, right? For the location, I mean, if you can, when you practice meditation, if you can be in the more quiet, like a temperature, not too cold, the room, that will be like outwards distracted,
Yes, of course.
to not eliminate but to decrease the outward distraction, right? But for the inward distraction, if you have, because they'll distract you what's happening outside, right? If you decrease, you change the location, change the room, or change the time, you will have less outside distraction. Then if you have like more inside distraction, it's like you have very strong emotion, or very or your posture cannot keep a very long time. You can just stand up, move around, and sit back again. But the practice here is just you don't need like in the beginning, you'll get distracted, outward distracted, inward distracted. It's very normal. But you need repeatedly practice, but not get to lots of frustration, because everyone is like that. After a while will be better. You can practice like many times, a short time, then you will be, have slowly progress.
Okay.
Did I answer your question? And
Yes.
also regarding the posture is what we recommend, right? That's the goal for full lotus. But that not mean everyone need to follow this posture as of now, because everyone's body's situation are different. They're not very flexible. But when you practice meditation, you will see your flexibility basically is improve.
No, the posture is not a problem. I feel comfortable, not in full lotus posture, but I feel that I can maintain straight my back. I can. I mean, the position of my chin is okay. It's good. I feel comfortable. I do not feel uncomfortable about the posture.
Yeah, good. Yeah, the key is you have to relax, right? And then gradually, if you're not able to do this posture, eventually you will, because when you meditate, your body also change. Also, if you are able to do this posture, that's good. You already, and if you are able to do this posture, you may notice that with this posture, your mind is easily to settled. Within with the practice.
Okay, I have another question, if I may.
Go ahead.
Okay. Recently, I've discovered this amazing teachings I didn't know before. I discovered par hasard, how I mean, by chance, if I can say this, at the final December, yes, something like that, and I found the proposal to practice preliminary practices, in fact, like a genius thing, because I mean, I received this preliminary opportunity practices like a very amazing and I don't know how to explain, but for me it's amazing thing. So I started to try to bring this 100,000 proposal, like divided in during the day, during the practice in the morning. I wrote to the team, Kempo, Venerable Kempo Sodarji team, and they very kindly sent to me this program to follow in the morning. And so I tried to the prostrations and joined with the pray to the Guru, and then bodhicitta and refuge bodhicitta, and offering, and so on and so on. No, I mean the 5 point, and I tried to do 100 8 times. Of course, at the beginning I couldn't. I did 10 prostration, and then I felt like I was dying because I'm not very young, not anymore. But the point is that in 2 months I was able to reach the 108 prostration per day.
Wow.
And but the point is this, and I did for 6 days. Not 7 days. I took 1 day to to, I mean, like vacances. I mean, like, and
Yeah.
but what happened is that sometimes I had to travel to United States to help my daughter and my granddaughter, my baby girl. And when I am there, I can't do, because there is a lot of work to do, and I'm very, very tired. But I keep the intention to do the things I'm doing with the same intention when I do prostration. This is suggestible. This is good things, or I have to do, because I can't. I mean, the time, the schedule during the day when I'm there, it's impossible to to split in many. I mean, it's impossible for me. I mean, I can't. Maybe it's possible, but I can't. But I try to be aware of the intention that lead me when I do my practice, when I'm at home and I'm alone, I have time, and so on and so on. And I try to keep this intention to when I help my daughter, when I help my granddaughter, when I do things, I dedicate these things to the Guru, to I mean, I don't know. I would like to know this.
Yeah, I understand that. So I think the whole Dharma practice, not only the specific one, is with your mind, right? So if you observe, I mean, if you observe you're trying too hard to do something, at that time your mind is already started like a frustration or not relaxed, that is not good. So we are training the mind. So within your effort, if you can do, that's good. If you cannot do, you do as much as you can, and then keep the mind steady and progress, steady, every day your mind become more steady, like to develop, like what we said, the Śamatha, right? That's the most important. It's not complete this time on on this day. If not complete, I have to punish yourself, or if not complete, you generate a lot of conceptual thinking. That's no need.
No, I do not punish myself at all.
I know.
do not.
Just you feel like you want to, but you're not able to.
I mean, what I'm asking is that when I'm here in my house, I can do. If I can't, I I rest, because I'm not so young. It's so on and so on. But when I'm not here and I can't, because there's no chance for my capacity. I mean, no, I still have in mind the proposition of bodhicitta.
That's most important.
Yeah. This is
the bodhicitta, and then you can make an aspiration, right? So I think that's most important, and observing your mind, to be relaxed, steady.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Let me see. Any more questions? We are kind of out of time. Okay, Sally, go ahead.
Thank you for the excellent session. I think it's very interesting that when Mipham Rinpoche said that if we want to find a heart, there's nowhere in our heart. But I think this heart maybe I think it does not mean that real physical, the bloody somewhere in our left side of chest or the organ. Maybe he's pointing to the really the heart of the matter. But I think it's very skillfully that he say, reside in our heart, and we look inside, because traditionally we do the meditation. There's one meditation called the searching for your heart, and then you look here. That meditation sometimes sort of drive me crazy. Anyway, I think it's more focused centers. You just say, just look inward, look at the heart, and that heart actually doesn't mean our physical heart, but it's the essence of being, or the what is it? We always say the heart of the matter. So I think that's also a very skillful way to find to rest in a sort of nature state, or immediate present experience of consciousness. I think I found this it's very direct. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Sally. Yes, so I think this is a very like a pith instruction, right? You don't need to drive, sometimes people will think, where's mind? Where's mind? That's what the Kampo mentioned. It's very skillful to say, okay, you just don't need to worry about where's the mind. Basically, mind can be in your heart area or maybe other area. That's okay. But Mipham Rinpoche mentioned here, it's just assume, right? Assume, that means it's not real. Anyway, okay, thank you, Sally. Anyone have anything else wanna mention or share? Or this kind of session is helpful, comment, also welcome.
Another thing is the knowingness. I think what eventually pointed out is knowing, the knowing quality of our mind's essence. And as far as the distraction concerned, I think we always, our mind is so unstable. The best thing is, I think also one teacher said, as soon as you recognize that, you are distracted, that's your knowingness. You already see the nature of the mind at that instant. So we should not drive away distracting thoughts, just let it come and let it go. That's the way to deal with it too. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. Jonathan.
Yes, sorry. I managed to join at some point. My computer was giving me a heartache, but a headache, sorry, not a heartache, because we're talking about heart. Yeah. Thank you so much, Sally, and then thank you, sorry, Christina, and then thank you, Sally, for the comment, and also Elena. I think I really appreciated the question. So. This is such an amazing topic, and then we're very lucky that Khenpo gave us this short instruction, because we're used to Khenpo giving a long series of teachings on things, and then this one you managed to keep it in basically in 2 sessions. So this is quite extraordinary, and then so great. So thank you, Christina, for working all this and clarifying all this. It's wonderful. I just wanted to add something. I don't know, it might sound a little bit like rephrasing, or I don't know, but there's a little thing that I wanted to mention, is that when we do this kind of meditation, or if we just even take like meditation in general, there are normally 2 things that happen. The first is the meditative experience, so the experience that we have while we're meditating, and then they call this in Tibetan, they call it nyam. So there's the thing that happens when we meditate. And then there's a second thing which overlaps this one, which is the expectation that we have about the meditative experience. So the first one, the meditative experience, it constantly changes, it constantly evolves. And it's sometimes like roller coasters. Sometimes they're what we would label as good sessions. Sometimes this is what we would label as bad sessions. And then but that changes all the time, and then the more we practice meditation, the more this meditative experience also is channeled in different ways. But then the expectation of experiences, it can change or it can not change depending on how we approach the meditation. So if I have, for example, if I have expectations about my meditation, this means that I might be very well disappointed, or I might have frustrations, or I might feel like there's something that I'm doing wrong, and this eventually can trickle down to my meditative experience. So it can make my meditative experience worse, or it can elevate my meditative experience and make me have feelings and thoughts that, wow, this meditation is so great, even while I'm meditating. So the point being that expectations of experience when we meditate is not necessarily what will help us achieve our goals. It's kind of a little bit like paradoxical, but we should approach meditation experience, we should approach meditation without having expectations about the experience that we're going to have during the meditation. And then maybe we can keep the analysis for after, like when we're done with the meditation, we can keep sitting and ask like, okay, so I feel like I've had these experiences, what happened? And then do a little bit of post-mortem analysis and think, okay, so maybe indeed there were too much outside distractions, there were too many noises, or maybe the room was too cold, these things. But when we're in the meditation, whatever meditative experience we have is just bound to that experience, and it shouldn't be connected with our ordinary mind, which is about attraction and aversion, or a desire and aversion about things. So this would be maybe one thing to try to keep in mind, that we meditate, and then the best meditation is the meditation that we do. So it's not that the best meditation is a meditation that brings good experience. So the fact that we're meditating is in itself the best meditation. And then we have to also remember that there's like a 4-step process that goes on when we do especially Śamatha meditation. First step is to establish the object. So we decide that we are going to gently focus our attention on something, so that we decide this object. Then we set our attention to this object, and then inevitably we're going to be distracted. Because when we set our mind in this resting moment, then we activate the default mode of the brain. The default mode of the brain is when the mind doesn't have the brain doesn't have a very strong task to do. So it sets to this mode, which is to generate thoughts. So this is like a neurological function. So when we rest and we sit and then we don't do much, basically, because doing meditation, we're not actively doing a lot of things, although there are mental processes going on. So when this happens, the default mode will generate thoughts. And then this is why we easily get distracted, because we eventually follow our thoughts. So that the third stage of the process, so the first is to establish the object, the second is to set our attention to it, the third is to become distracted, and then the fourth is to become aware of that distraction, and then the fifth, if we say, or the fourth and a half, would be to bring our attention back to the object, and that's it. That's what we do. That's all we have to do. So maybe this, I don't know if it complements all of this, if it makes sense to you, but this is something that I keep in mind when I do my personal meditation. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. So I think, yes, you detailed all the steps. That was, yeah, very makes sense. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Sally. So anything else we wanna discuss?
Yeah, there's a question. Sunlo?
There's a question? Okay, let me see.
Yes, Miss Chris.
Hey, Chris, you have a question? I didn't.
Yes,
Okay, go ahead.
it's probably very simple questions. When we're doing meditations, when we with the eyes closed, is there any like tips? When we closing the eyes, where's the eyes is toward to? Is it the bottom, the center, or any directions better? Because I was practicing like it's long enough until at one point I can reach something, I can feel something, and then now drop to the floor again. It's gone. Sometimes I feel like I want to scream. Is there any like suggestion or tips how to back to where I was before? Thank you.
Sorry, I'm not sure if I completely understand your question, but for general, if you are distracted, very often get distracted, you can close your eyes for some time. But in Dzogchen perspective, we suggest eyes open. So eyes should be open. If you practice like for some time, you think your mind is able to rest, so you should open your eyes. In that way, you don't, because you close your eyes, you generate some other feelings or thoughts. That's the general rule. I don't know if I answered your question.
I mean, so when we close our eyes, right? So we still be able to focus with our eyes closed. Is it better focusing on the lower or the center, or?
No. Well, I would not to suggest you close your eyes to focus. If you close your eyes, you reach like stable, a little bit stabilized. You should open your eyes and you focus like this 7-point posture. You can gaze past the tip of your nose or
Okay.
looking 1 meter in front of you. This is when you open your eyes. to practice, not close your eyes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep. That's the.
Can I add something?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. As Christina mentioned that, meditation, we keep our eyes open rather than closed. Usually they suggest to look at the tip of the nose, but in Dogen meditation, we look straight forward. I think there's few reason, or purpose for that. First, we spend our hours most of the time with eye open, not closed. So that keep our mindfulness, that trend in our meditation. Another thing is, I think in the Higher Tantra, they say that we have a channel that called Kati, crystal channel that from the heart go to our eyes. So actually, our eyes is the exit or the consciousness connecting with the world. So it's they strongly suggest that we keep our eyes open when we do the meditation. If one is used to close eye, it might be a little bit difficult, but try to slowly to adjust it. Maybe a lower gaze first and slowly get higher. So as far as the distraction concerned, you just say if we kind of a drowsiness, we could look upward. I raise our gaze higher. And if we're very agitated, we put our gaze a little bit lower, or just be aware of something more substantial, like our seat or our bottom of leg, so forth. Make it grounded. But that's also depend everybody's constitution. Our inner air movement is very channels different, so everybody have to find a way that might be suitable for oneself. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. Yes, there is a very secret meaning under why its eyes need to open and look straight forward with those the completion practice. Okay, go ahead, Jonathan.
Yes. Yeah, just to add a little thing about this. Thank you, Chris, for the question. Actually, from a opposite of a secret meaning, if we take a very practical perspective on eyes, if they should be closed or open, like intuitively, it makes sense to want to close the eyes because we feel that maybe we shut down some external stimulation, and then we can be more like focused and present. So maybe it can bring a little bit more quietness when we practice. But then, as Chris said, then you can always find a distraction. Like, okay, now my eyes are closed, but where should my eyes be positioned?
Right.
Behind my eyelids. So now you just find another distraction. So the point is that if we want to shut the doors and then be completely non-distracted, it means that we should also shut the ears because there might be sound. It means that we should also shut the nose because there might be smell, and eventually we should disconnect with the body because there might be bodily sensation. So it's not practical to want to do this. Although it's intuitive, it would work, but it's not practical to do it. And another thing is that our goal is to bring our practice out of the cushion, like beyond the cushion or beyond the chair, so that eventually I don't just meditate when I'm sitting, but I can also be meditating when I'm eating, when I'm walking, when I'm driving, when I'm, whatever I do. So if my only practice is to close my eyes when I meditate, it means that it's going to be very hard to bring that meditative experience to my daily life. So that's why it's also important to learn progressively to meditate with our eyes open, so that we can
I see the point.
We can progressively make our whole life as a meditative experience.
It's a mindfulness.
Yeah.
I see your point. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Well, yeah. Anyone else have anything? Yulian, I see you here. You wanna have something to share or to ask?
Hello, hi everyone. Oh, thank you for the opportunity. I'm actually driving at the moment, but I really enjoyed the session. Thank you so much for taking the time to deliver this session.
Thank you. Thanks for joining. Okay, so I think Nim Ifisha also here. If anything to add, to share, comments?
Nothing to add, nothing to share. It's all good.
Okay, are you talking? Okay, good. Thank you. So I think we have Tengxing. I don't know if go ahead. You want to share?
Hello everyone,
Hello.
thank you for the session. Uh, actually, I think, yeah, I had that problem with, eyes open session, meditating with eye open. It's actually kind of difficult for me because my eyes always, my eyes hurt sometimes. So it's kind of difficult for me without closing my eyes to do the meditation. So I prefer closing my eyes. Is there any problem with that?
No, I think for if you have some difficulties, you wanna close your eyes. That's also good. I think the most important with meditation practice is the mind, but you can, gradually situation will gonna change, right? When you practice more, you kind of your body situation gonna improve a lot. Then you can try to open your eyes in the future. But if you hurt you open your eyes, you always can adjust, to close your eyes or posture, have difficulties. Remember, everything is changing, and we for meditation practice, it will greatly change your body and mind, because your mind changed, your body is going to change. Lots of things you cannot do, you may be able to do after a while. So just keep your mind open. In the future, you might be able to do it. You just try after a while. Yep, just to keep trying.
Yeah, I think Christina the point's very important. Another thing is remember is when we say we open eye, it means open an eye softly, and not that we have to open eye real big and staring, and then make ourselves tired. And also, of course, we can blink when we need it, and maybe in the beginning you could alternate. Try to open eye, gently, softly, and then when you're tired, you close the eye, rest a little bit, and just inch by inch, maybe that will help. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sally. Yeah, that's good option too. So just start is important, and practice gradually. It will change. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
So very welcome.
Definitely.
Go ahead. Yeah. Okay. Anyone have anything else? Okay. If not, we're good. We'll continue. Sorry. I totally okay. This is like the loginetic meditation, what we learning from Nongzhou. So because the time we don't have enough time, so I'm going to skip this. Now let's do dedication together. Please put your palm together. Let's do dedication. Just as warrior Manjushri attained omniscience and Samatha too, all this merit now I dedicate to train and follow their footsteps. And all the Buddhas of past, present, and future praise these aspirations as supreme. So now I dedicate all the root of virtue for all beings to perfect good actions. Ona Hom Banja Guru Bama Siddhi Hom. Ona Hom Banja Guru Bama Siddhi Hom. Ona Hom Banja Guru Bama Siddhi Hom.